Okay. Hello, Rosie.
I am.
Hi. Thanks for joining me today. We're back here on our second podcast, and today I believe we're going to be talking about expectations and in particular the expectations we have of dogs.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it was born really out of our conversation last time. We had such a lively and interesting discussion about it was in particular how to bring a rescue dog into your home, but it did lead us to think about those expectations we have of rescue dogs. But then we decided to kind of open that topic out because expectations, it doesn't just apply to rescue dogs. It's to all dogs. We have expectations of them, who they'll be. And I know you've got lots of rich and interesting ideas on this topic. And I personally just feel it's huge for anyone, either who's currently living with a dog or anyone who's thinking about bringing a dog into their life to have an understanding of. So there we go, Rosie. That's my lengthy, rambling introduction. I wanted to hand this over to you now, so you can let us know a little bit about how you came to understand this topic, really, and in particular, why you feel it's important for us to adjust our expectations of dogs.
That's right. Yes. Um, yeah, well, one very important quote from William Shakespeare is expectation is the root of all heartache.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, me too. And
Mm.
I take that with me
Yeah.
daily at the moment and just, exploring that with people and situations and
Yeah.
as well as, of course, dogs, which I've known for some time. Uh,
Ah,
yeah. And generally, humans have such high expectations of dogs, it seems, and far higher than we expect of other humans and children. For
yes.
example, we expect a dog to be friendly with everyone and other animals, to be grateful for love and cuddles,
Oh, yeah.
go for walks and enjoy them. I mean, that is such a basic thing, we think,
Yeah,
but
we
some
do.
dogs can't do that.
No.
So, and this is wherever we decide to take them as well. They have
Yes.
little choice on that. Maybe go running or cycling with the human when and where they want to go. Um, yeah, and get
Yeah.
on with other dogs. Know what to do and how to behave off lead because they're a dog. We think they're just born with that, you know. Um,
Mm.
Not to chase cats and other furry animals, despite us wanting them to chase bulls. We
Yes.
expect them to come when called, whatever's going on.
Yes.
And to tolerate situations they're put in. Um, for children to even have them as playmates and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
to be well behaved
Mm-hmm.
around everything in all kinds of human events. Um, Doggy daycare centres, they're meant to just go and get on with the
Fine.
dogs. We
Yeah.
expect them to behave well at vets and in the kennels. And behave well means not to growl and bark.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And be appreciative for a good home and food and lots of exercise, to be playful and loving and always be happy and not to have days off or off days like we do sometimes. And we can decide what to do about that, but dogs don't always get that choice. So, yeah. When I picked up my English Mastiff, um, from the breeder. She was a puppy at 8 weeks of age. And I was well aware she was going to grow into a big dog. And fear drove me to do the right thing, as you know, viewed from today's society. Um, so there are certain things we did. We went to puppy classes at the
Ah, yeah.
start off, but they just socialise with all puppies, but it's what those puppies are learning from that situation, which isn't always a great thing. It wasn't for Chaos anyway, and probably not for the other puppies there either, who were with her. I started socializing her with people, dogs and other animals regularly, and took her for walks along by traffic as well, so that she'd get used to that. Yeah, and all this did was to make her fearful of dogs and humans, and she would lunge and bark at both. She also went to training classes, and she did really well, and got her silver award. But those are all human things, really, aren't they?
This
And
is it. Yeah. Yeah,
not
doing really well is not.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think she would have chosen to do that had I not been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
So they're all human-based things and not exactly dog-centered. And it wasn't viewed from the dog's perspective, but it was about me controlling her and not understanding what was happening for her. I just focused on she had to be a good dog as viewed by other people. But how realistic is all of this?
It
So
sounds like a mountain to climb for a dog, doesn't it? To have to live up to all of
it
that.
is such high demands.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I did it for the right reasons, so that people would be safe, you know, but there are other ways of doing it, I found out later. So
Yeah.
we
You were
started
doing-
again, but this time with the focus being on what Chaos was at ease with, which was from a large distance, seeing people and dogs from a place where she could feel comfortable and not fearful. And she chose to watch and see life from there, really, from a very large distance, which is more than we might imagine, not a few feet or whatever, but yeah, 100 meters or more. Sometimes it depended on the situation. And in time, a lot of time, once she felt safe and trusted that I wouldn't take her into difficult situations, she began to feel less anxious and more at ease. But yeah, it was a long, slow journey, but one that suited her. And I'd already done the damage, so you know.
And it though when it sounds so crucial, like when you've dropped the expectation of what
Right, yeah.
the way that she needed to learn and let her lead, she
Yeah,
could
that's
actually
it.
start to kind of soften anyway and be interested and want to approach other dogs, but only when it had been sort of done at her pace.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't have to meet other dogs. That's another expectation we have. Not
Yeah.
all dogs are capable of it. Yeah, you need to give them perhaps chance. You know, socialization isn't just seeing things. It's about smelling for a dog. It's about the scenting. You know, being able to smell where other dogs and animals have been. We forget that sometimes. We're too focused on the meeting.
Yes.
And it's not always that dogs can do that or want to. So,
No.
but to give them opportunities to see another dog at a distance, perhaps, for some dogs. So, yeah, and Kuzu, he came to live with us. He wouldn't have eye contact and he didn't want any connection with humans for months. He just didn't trust people at all.
Right.
So I made sure he felt safe by not putting him into situations, as I had done with Chaos, or put him under pressure to have contact, and waited until he came to us, really. So it was on his terms. And then he was able to start to trust, and he started to come to us because we weren't asking anything of him. And then he started to have eye contact voluntarily. He chose to have eye contact, which was
What a
really
surprise.
lovely moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wonderful. So, and now we look at each other for quite long periods of time. Although I'm always thinking, oh, I wonder if he's happy with this. He starts it, you
Yeah.
have a sense that they're looking at you. And so you just look softly at them.
Mm.
And I often break eye contact with him in case he feels he can't, because sometimes dogs do feel uncomfortable to be able to turn away, go away,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just do that so he has a choice, and often he carries on, which is funny from where he started.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so he actually trusts people now, and he'll approach them, and he enjoys being touched. Although at times I need to guide people so they know what he enjoys, and sometimes I need to change the situation because of the type of attention Kuzu's getting. So I might get up or move away, or distract the people so that Kuzu can move away, or speak to them and say, just take your hand away for a moment and
Yeah.
see what happens,
Well,
and
that's another sort of expectation, isn't it? That a
yeah,
dog will go for a walk and be approached and touched by another human, and that they
that's
will
right.
absolutely be okay with it. And
Yeah, yeah,
I often think when I'm with our dogs, and there's people approaching them and touching them, would I want that human stroking me?
yeah, that's
You know,
right. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's often a no.
I should think so. Yeah.
But they're just having to tolerate this, aren't they? People,
That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I know that we can get stuck in situations with people and think, how do I break away?
yes,
What do I do? So it's the same. It's the same for dogs too, and we can help them out. So yeah.
yeah, that's it. We're there to sort of break that and walk away if we need to, or like you say, gently guide the human. Can you try it this way, or what happens if you do this?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So in a way, you're kind of educating them as well. Perhaps they wouldn't think about that, but they could actually see that the dog
Mm,
can move away if they want, or stay
yeah.
and want more, you know.
It's
So yeah, yeah,
it's, as you were sort of going through that list of all of the expectations that we have on dogs, I was sort of thinking it's like we've forgotten that they're animals.
yeah, yeah.
And it made me really sad actually hearing the list. And I was just wondering, where do you think all of these expectations have come from? Like, how have we forgotten so much about a dog's a dog being a dog? We don't expect this of cats, do we? We know. Yeah.
Exactly. They have the freedom often,
Yeah.
not always, because yeah, not always, but
Not
they
always.
generally have choices, more choices than dogs.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think there's more fear
Yeah.
around dogs. And of course, in the media, you often hear, "Oh, so and so's been mauled."
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so there's that too. Whereas you don't often get that with cats, I suppose.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So
I
it's
bet- yeah, yeah.
yeah, fear of needing to control that animal instinct should a human get hurt or to prevent.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
you um, and yeah, it's in the media really, and
Yeah.
many people talk about training the dog and training dogs. The dog needs to be trained. It shouldn't be doing that or
Yes.
whatever. And but there's no getting to know and understand the dog or the dog's language,
No.
which is really, if it started from there, we'd all know what dogs were saying and when they were uncomfortable and that kind of thing. So yeah, and the dog's wants and needs are kind of pushed aside, and it's not the main focus yet. Hopefully one day it will be the main focus.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing if we could?
Yeah, wouldn't it just? Yeah. So how I treated chaos was built on the foundation that I needed to have my dog under control.
Yes.
And that's what's out there in society, really. She was a big dog, and I was scared of what may happen if she did something to another dog or human, because the law says, you can have your dog taken away if somebody deems it to be aggressive or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
which might even be barking or lunging or something like that. So yeah.
Which
Um,
is deeply sad, isn't it? To think
oh my goodness, yeah.
barking is considered aggression.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I know, I know. Um, I used to fear my dogs would take over because
Okay.
that was talked about. This is
Yeah.
going back to the 80s, but that thinking is actually still around. Not everywhere, but yeah,
Like the
it's
dog's
still
in
around.
charge at home.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You have to show the dog who's boss and be a good leader and all this
Oh, yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I recognize that thinking, that change.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the equipment is to stop the dog doing this, that, and the other, rather than thinking about, well, what's the situation that the dog's doing this in, or what's
Yeah.
happening for the dog, how they're feeling. And yeah, and often this is driven by fear and people wanting to fit in and do the right thing, as I had done with chaos.
Mm.
And look at COVID. Most of us were scared and we did what we
Um,
were told.
yeah.
But what's happened since there, you know,
Oh,
um,
such a good
there have been
analogy.
repercussions on mental and physical health. And yeah, we were controlled for a long time. There were restrictions, and it was difficult for people, really difficult. And yeah, this control and stuff does have repercussions, as I've just said. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's really interesting.
fear and control happens from a very young age. We have to have boundaries, of course, but yeah, we're primed to fit in at school and do what everybody else is doing. So yeah,
It's
there's all.
really interesting.
Sorry.
Sorry, Rosie. I was just thinking it was really interesting that you'd brought that up in terms of COVID, because actually dogs, I suppose they live in a perpetual state of lockdown, don't they? We control
That's
everything
right.
that they do.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. Uh,
And yeah, what does that do to them, do you think? How do they, to their bodies, to their, to their stress levels, I guess?
well, I guess it can limit their life in the longer term, um, and yeah, their lifespan
Mm.
come
Mhm.
out in behaviour problems and health problems, um, or they're suppressed and then it comes out. Um, yeah, what if you suppress an animal or human, then there are repercussions. It will come out some way or
Yeah.
other in some form. So,
Yes. An
so
illness or
yeah, that's right. Yeah, skin problems, ear problems,
yeah.
that kind of thing. They might seem minor or it's just this, but it's not just that. There are reasons why,
Mm.
animals become ill. So, and we need to start looking at, how we can make things kind of better for dogs so that they live a happy, healthy life, happier, healthier life. Yeah. So,
Well, I mean it has so many implications, doesn't it? So I was just thinking then about the expectation that my dog or any dog will want to chase a ball that I throw, and of course that has impacts on their joints, which could lead to arthritis or injuries, or even just higher stress levels because they're having to chase. And so the expectation has a direct impact on the dog's health, the illness.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. And these are things that we expect a dog to do, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But when they're on their own, they don't seek out balls,
No,
starting from a young puppy, and, they wouldn't chuck it and chase it. I know some dogs do that because they're primed to chase balls, but if they hadn't found a ball, if they never saw a ball, they wouldn't go and,
no, they're not craving a ball to play.
No,
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 no.
right. Yeah. It's a human thing. It's being human that creates that.
Human.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
yes. There's a lot of
Sure.
stuff that comes with being human, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, they'll chase things, they would chase things. That is innate in dogs, in some more than others. But yeah.
but maybe not repeatedly until exhaustion.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
So how, I'm just thinking about this picture that I don't know whether you can hear the scratching. So the dog I've got with me at the moment, Marla, has just started digging the carpet. So if you can hear that, that's what that is.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm just thinking about the picture that we've painted there for the life of a dog. It could feel quite bleak, couldn't it? That they, even with the best will in the world and the most love, and thinking that you are enriching a dog's life by buying balls and going out on walks and running next to a bike and all of the things that we do, that
Yeah.
might not actually be an enjoyable life for a dog. And so I guess what I'm wondering is, like, what's the alternative? Like, what's the different life that a dog can have if its human or owner drops those expectations? How can it be different?
Okay. So, I guess that yeah, dogs like humans are all different, and we can expect anything from a dog, really. They may not be friendly or tolerate every animal. Perhaps they will dig and eat plants and chew, and not always want to be with us and fussed and
Yeah,
cuddled,
yeah,
just as
yeah,
we don't always want a dog to be around us when we're busy doing something.
sure. Yeah,
They want to investigate, perhaps, follow nice smells and trails, and chase things and roll in smelly stuff.
yeah.
They might be busy with things and can't come when they're called. They
Yeah,
might steal food
yeah,
if they're hungry or other reasons. They may toilet in the house sometimes,
yeah,
and they may not want to toilet in the garden or outside,
yeah,
for
yeah,
various reasons, of
yeah.
course. They bark, they growl,
Uh-huh.
they
Uh-huh.
jump up and they lick, and many, many other behaviours, and they're all natural for a dog. So that's what being a dog is about, really. So perhaps we should think about those things, that are natural for a dog. And
Yes.
like the postman's just turned up. So
Uh,
so they might bark,
yeah.
but that's it, you know.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what it's about. So um on letting go of the expectations can be hard sometimes.
Of course.
Um
They're
yeah,
deeply ingrained, aren't they? They are.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So
Yeah. There's something about the whole, like that man's best friend, like it evokes such an image of what a dog should be. And also I think the expectation of other humans or other dog owners for you to have that well-behaved dog, it's like a status thing, isn't it? You know, if a dog's walking
Yeah.
beautifully by your side, or you know, whereas our dogs are kind of, you know, they're all over the place. I think if anybody watched me walk with our dogs, it would look like chaos, but it's actually, it's like a conscious choice to let them do what they want to do, and I'm there on their walk with them rather than, you know. So I think being able to also, there's something about being able to drop the idea that you have to like impress other humans by
Yeah, that's
having a good
hard.
dog.
Yeah. That's hard. I feel pressure,
You
definitely
do.
feel pressure,
Yeah.
where you know, we're going along quite nicely, and then there are people, and you think, "Oh, help!" or you know, what will they be thinking? It's in my head, but
Yeah.
I don't care now.
Yes. Because it's
But
best for the dogs.
you feel it, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So,
Um,
and when we feel fear, we often control more.
for sure.
And when dogs are fearful, they can also control more as well. So, yeah,
And
is-
they'll know our fear, won't they? They'll pick up on
that's
that.
it. Yeah, it's the whole thing. So, yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
You know, there's so much here. And you know, I guess before we end, Rosie, I'm just wondering, I think we've covered this question, but I'm curious if there's anything else. Like what are realistic expectations of dogs, in terms of how, you know, how we live with them, how we share our lives with them.
Yeah, okay. Um, so do you mean how we let go of the expectations and
Well, I'm just more thinking, say for example, if we're to say that we could let go of the expectation that a dog doesn't want to cuddle,
yes,
or maybe even, you know, I've got a dog that I can't take on a walk with me, so I've let go of that expectation. But I'm just wondering, what what would you say we could like realistically expect of dogs? What's okay? And I think you've covered it. I think you said, you know, we have to expect that they'll dig. And it's
yeah,
funny that
yeah.
Marla dog had a little dig
Yes.
well,
Yeah,
you know,
that's interesting. Yeah,
on the call, and you know that maybe occasionally they'll toilet in the house.
that's
So yeah,
right.
it's just sort of wondering whether there was anything else there around what's realistic to expect from them.
So, well, yeah, just things that they do.
Yeah,
Uh,
being a dog.
and yeah, they may not want to be friendly or, you know, and
Yeah,
we have to kind of accept that and make sure that we're not putting them into situations where it's forced.
yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Mm,
those are more realistic expectations that they will chew and, you know, want to investigate and won't be able to come when they're called. Um,
yeah,
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 those kinds of things.
yes, yeah.
Uh,
Oh, well, thank you, Rosie. It's been so good. I can't believe we've talked for over half an hour already just on this
well,
topic. It's gone so fast. But thank you. And I hope we'll do another podcast in the future. But if there are any listeners out there that are interested in reading a bit more about your work or having a look into one of your books that you've published, do you want to share your website address and maybe an email address for them to contact you?
yeah, sure. My email address is laidbackdogs@gmail.com. And my website is also laid back dogs. And yeah, so I just wanted to say, just bring up another expectation to finish.
Oh,
And
yeah, please do.
that's the harder you expectations are like fine pottery. The harder you held them, the more likely they were to crack.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that by Brandon Sanderson, who is an American author. So, and it's really so freeing to let go of our wants and expectations and observe the dog that is in front of us. They'll show you who they are.
yes. What
So,
a what a beautiful quote to illustrate that point,
yeah,
and a
isn't it?
really, yeah, lovely sort of sentiment to end on, that if you let go of what you're trying to make something be, you get to have the beauty of what it actually is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a lovely journey when we can start letting the dog take the lead, really, and give them a few choices.
beautiful. Yeah. I'm excited to try some of the ideas with our dogs. Thank you, Rosie.
Okay, Anne. Thank you.
Hope to see you again soon.
All right then. Yeah, that would be good. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.